Hello everyone, I am Jishu Prakash here. Today, let's discuss one of the important topic, act of the God. It is one of the important part of the general defense.
In the court, one party will file the case on another party. The party who files the case is known as plaintiff. The case is filed on opponent party is defendant. So here 8 general defenses are available. So how the defendant can save himself, that is the opponent party protect themselves by telling these 8 general defense. One of the defense is volenti non-fit injuria. So volenti non-fit injuria means own risk. The plaintiff itself gave the permission, consent, and own risk taken by plaintiff. That is consent of defense, harm upon oneself, risk taking. If the plaintiff itself agreed, if any damage occur, then the defendant not responsible. The next is plaintiff the wrongdoer. So when the plaintiff voluntarily commits a wrong act, so there is no intention of defendant to harm, but plaintiff's act made him to do the wrong and harm for that plaintiff person. Next is inevitable accident. So an accident that could not have been avoided by reasonable care. Means the after taking all proper care, still the accident is inevitable, which is not controllable. Next is act of God. In this video, we will discuss in detail about the act of the God. So losses from unavoidable natural forces like volcanoes or earthquake or any other natural related factors, but there is no human interference. Next is private defense. So action takes to protect oneself or protect property from harm. So private defense is protecting the defendant act to protect himself, like he acted, he harmed the plaintiff. Why? Because he need to protect himself. Next is mistake. So an error in judgment or fact sometimes a valid defense. So there is a mistake. We say that in law, ignorance of law, no excuse, but ignorance of fact is excusable, like allowed. Next is necessity. Action takes to prevent or greater harm, even if legal. For smaller harm, it is allowed to avoid the greater harm. Next is statutory authority. So actions authorized by law, providing defense of against liability. So government itself provide the actions. These all are 8 general defenses. Now let's move on the act of the God. So act of the God, as we discussed earlier, loses from unavoidable natural forces. Means cannot avoid the accident and no interference of human. So here there is various natural forces occurred. So it must be a natural force, first condition. Second is occurrence must be extraordinary and not anticipated or recently planned against. So we can't anticipate, can't predict. So in the case of Ramlinga Naidu versus Narayana Reddy, there is a lorry which carrying certain goods and the goods are stolen in an accident. So because of mob ruling, there is a goods which is thefted. So court ruled that lorry owner is responsible, not an act of God. So because here human interference is involved, the theft, and it is unexpected, but they should be protected. Due care and protection should be there of lorry and lorry owner. They should be careful. Next is Nicholas versus Marshland. In this case, artificial lake is overflowed. So Marshland created artificial lake from natural river. So the rainfall is like a thunderstorm, like extraordinary rainfall. So damaging that artificial lake, it damaged the plaintiff's land. So because of overflow of water in the defendant land, it damaged, overflowed water. And defendant was not held responsible. The court said defendant not responsible because it is act of God. Because the nature, it happened because of nature. It can't be predictable. Suddenly tomorrow the thunderstorm will occur, or it can't be imagined. It is a natural force which occurred, and there is no mistake of Nicholas. There is no mistake of marshland.